There's a biodiversity crisis going on, and NTSI is here to help reduce the risk of losing a species by propagating through reproductive biology using techniques that are tried and proven so that we can increase the numbers and put them out into ecosystems which can sustain the species without the need for humans' intervention. Yeah, hi, I'm Daniel Gowland from the National Threatened Species Institute, where our focus is on preserving and bolstering threatened species back out there in the bush, trying to work out the tricky individuals that require detailed and, I guess, delicate attention to their reproductive biology. And that's kind of where our speciality is. And then the reintroduction of those guys back into the bush. This is young 50, he's a glossy black cockatoo. Young, well, he's 11 years of age. You can tell that he's a boy because of his red tail. There's no barring on there. And there's no yellow on the dots on his face. This is one of the species we work on, and because they have a really unique diet, the yellow casuarina, which is a high protein, high fat food source. We'd be breeding and have bred and hand raised and documented the most amount of nutritional data and reproductive data for the species to date. You could almost argue the similarities with that and the white-tailed black cockatoos. This facility where we are located has the captive breeding programs of a whole range of different threatened species, some which are to be going back into the bush and some which are analogues for even more critically endangered species, so that we can learn the husbandry, the biological reproductive techniques to sustain the populations. We've got to refine the species that we're looking after, but also achieve the goals of working out how to breed them and how to look after them, and also how to get them back into the bush in a way that is really passive. We're currently at the facility's acclimatisation enclosure for smoky mice, Sodomia fumarus, or also known as kunums. This is where little individuals come to between the breeding rooms, which are almost hotels with climate control, to the outside world before they go back out into the bush where they came from, or into feral predator-proof areas so they can get back into the wild. The last known population was down near Nullika, Australia's southeast. We were able to source some founders. I think there were 4 to start off with. And we've successfully reproduced those individuals, put them into other educational institutions so further studies can be done on them. Went to 6 individuals, and then multiple generations be breeding them to establish a sizable population. Then we were able to look at how we were to reintroduce these guys back into the bush. We've reintroduced them into 2 areas down in southeast Australia to try and bolster those sort of numbers. So the reintroduction enclosures on site, a big philosophy that we're trying to do is not impact more than what we're actually putting back. So we need to walk into these spaces, make little footprint. The enclosures are designed to lie flat. They can stand up, they've got a solid floor, solid walls. They're engineered to be able to take impact from falling branches. There's a lot of cameras that monitor these releases so we can get other input to what other species we're attracting. Plus everybody's got a microchip inside them so we can track where those guys move throughout it's about a soccer field type of space where we've got, say, 10 enclosures or exclosures that these guys go back into. And so we're able to track these guys moving out throughout the field and see some really unique traits. So the ideal for the smoky mice, and I guess for any of these sorts of individuals, is that we have multiple populations set up around the place that are self-sufficient, so we can back out completely. But the idea for all of these is that here's a nice little space that you can refuge, but ideally you need to move on out into the bush and find your little ecosystem that you're going to thrive in. So we've assisted with the complete rewriting of the husbandry manual for the orange-bellied parrot. In doing that, we've documented the multiple diets that are available, the fact that this species can, what they call double clutch, so it can produce 2 lots of eggs per year, so almost double the number of young that can be produced. With regards to the eastern ground parrot, there's 3 species, but there's basically the western, and then you've got the night parrot, which was presumed to be extinct for 50 years, and then they found one. They haven't had any luck breeding the western ground parrot previously. We are a facility that specialises in psittacines, in parrots, and one of the priorities there was to see if we could breed the eastern ground parrot as an analogue for the western ground parrot. They're very similar, and historically they were the same species, and they've just diverged and separated. For the eastern ground parrot, well, at this stage we're the only individual institution that are able to maintain them. We're fingers crossed we're going to be breeding them, but it's under 2 years that they've been here, and so far they're all doing fabulously well, running around the place. NTSI is here to help with the biodiversity crisis. We are here to help recruit some of the threatened individuals at a low impact level and bolster their numbers, put them back out into some safe spaces so that they can go forth and manage themselves into the future.